Welcome to Three Dudes and a Lady. Join us for a little inspiration, a little uh, motivation, and perhaps a way to cope with your day. I am Mike Jones from Virginia, but currently in Florida. And my gratitude is for learning opportunities that are all around us.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Earl Rule out of beautiful state of North Carolina. My gratitude is for being here in North Carolina because where my mother is up in Massachusetts, they are under a blizzard, getting about 12 inches of snow. And she is real happy about that. So that makes me want to twist and shout, right? So let's all have a good day out there.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jay Anderson. My gratitude of the day is Mother Nature.
Mhm.
Let me just say, Mother Nature has stared Al Gore in the face and said, "You can't tell me what my weather is going to be."
Hey guys, I am Christine Wright, hailing out of the great state of Florida. And my gratitude is for the Daily J on Calm. I'm so grateful for him and all the work that he's done to help us and I'm sure countless other people. Today, Jay talked about primal scream, right? So when pressure builds up inside us, we sometimes feel like a screaming like a teapot, like a teapot kettle going off. He also brought up the last Sunday of each semester at Columbia, and he said other colleges do this too. All the kids would open up their windows and scream. The students release their built up emotions and frustrations and energy that they have built up, right? A lot of times we bottle our energy up and our emotions up and let them out at inappropriate times. Has anybody ever done that before? And in ways that may not reflect who we want to be, right? But how can we release up or how can we release pent up emotion in a constructive manner, right? He brought up screaming and shaking, and even during his meditation, he's having us move around and shake a little bit, right? Just to get it out. It actually is going to help, right? Screaming and shaking calm the nervous system and gives us more clarity and composure to move on about our day, right? So if you're feeling stressed or tense, go to a quiet room and scream or shake it out and see how you feel. Getting things out of our system are going to let us live a more balanced life, right? And he asked, what are ways that we deal with our stress and emotions, right? Do we ignore them? Do we do the screaming and shaking? Do we let them out in inappropriate times? For me, I am an ignorer. I ignore it, right? Now, if I'm stressed out, I might be moving it faster at a faster pace than I already do. That's usually how you can tell I'm stressed. But I don't usually let it out, right? I'm the one that lets it out at the inappropriate time, right? Where we could ruin relationships. How about you guys? How do you guys feel about stress and how are we letting it out?
Earl kind of stole some of my thunder there, but didn't the Beatles teach us how to do this? We make twist and shout.
Yes.
I had that song in mind too.
I know
Check
you
it
did.
out,
So did
baby.
I.
Yeah.
Come on, baby. Now, twist and shout.
Oh.
Right.
And no, Jay, it's not today for me to sing an entire song. Sorry.
But did you guys feel a little bit less stress when he had you shake out a little bit? And
Oh,
all of us
Absolutely.
joined.
gosh. The sad part is a lot of times we don't realize that we are stressing out until it's too late. We've already taken that downward spiral, and then it's too late, and then we just hit that stress level. Then we forget about something, a simple exercise as the primal scream, or shaking your arms, because generally that it does help. It does loosen you up. It does make you realize this is not quite as bad as what I think it is. Most of the time it's not. There are times that it is, but most of the time it's not. Stress to me a lot of times is self-induced. And we got to be able to recognize that. And if the faster that we recognize it, the better we will be.
Yeah, for sure. And I think a lot of times our voices, right? Like the giant voices, I know we talk about that a lot in here. We all have like a secret weapon system that we use to kind of protect ourselves, even though a lot of times it comes out at the wrong, inappropriate time, right? Um, like for me, my weapon is sniper, right? So which means I'm just going to quit talking to you. I'm just going to cut you off and not talk to you ever again. And that's usually what happens if I get highly stressed. And because unfortunately, my voice, a lot of times relationships, I don't give enough time to make them deep enough, right? So I don't usually have relationships that, if they stress me out too much, I'm like, I'm done talking to you. And I just cut them off completely. And that's the sniper coming out of me. Now, it's inappropriate at times, right? For sure. No doubt about it. Each weapon system is definitely inappropriate times, right? Where we could bring it out. My husband's is the Hulk. So if you can only imagine, he keeps the energy in until it bursts out and it's definitely inappropriate. And all of a sudden you're like, what in the world just happened? Kind of like the movie The Hulk, it's the real deal Hulk coming out for sure.
Do you turn green?
I don't, but he does.
Probably red, right?
Yeah,
Not green.
red, green, whatever.
Some other Christmas color.
Yeah. Yeah, but our voices play that role for us, right?
Yeah.
So the more that we can understand that and how we deal with stress, right? I think that's what he's trying to get at is how do we deal with stress?
Right.
My,
It's funny you said sniper. Is that what you called it?
yeah, the sniper.
Because there's how I remember this, but memory is a blessing and a curse. In my seventh grade literature book, there was a short story called The Obstinate Uncle Otis. And Uncle Otis was a type that if he didn't like something, he would just pretend it wasn't there. Until one day he was struck by lightning. And from that day on, if he didn't like something and disavowed it being there, it disappeared.
Wow. Yeah. So like the sniper.
Yeah. There's also a Star Trek episode where the person did he didn't just murder the uh, person that murdered his wife. He he destroyed or made the entire race disappear, like all their history and everything. So
Completely
extreme
wiped out.
examples of what happens if you don't let out your stress, right? Or of course they're fictional, but
Yeah, but
some of them,
it teaches you a lesson a little, right?
yeah.
Because that's what could happen if you don't let the stress out, right? You
I'm
could
gonna
lose
take
it.
us. I'm gonna take us to left field here for a second.
Oh,
Let's
please.
get back
Like
to
I
this
didn't take
uncle.
us to right field, just that.
Well, okay, we'll go to right field. Let's Uncle Otis. Was there a child book um, called Uncle Remus?
Yeah, that was
Is that
zippity
not
doo
where the
dah,
first?
zippity day.
Is that not where I first learned about the phrase rabbit hole?
Probably.
Oh,
Brer Rabbit in the tar pit.
Burr Rabbit. There you go. Daggone,
It's
man.
a classic Disney movie.
I don't know. You pulled something out of the old memory bank there, Mike. I
Right.
It
I tell you something. This is the Primal Scream. I, here's full transparency on me. A lot of times I don't catch myself in time, and I get stressed out. And I think the longer it goes, there comes a point where my body just shuts down and says, it's all I can take. I equate it to my give a shit meter got pegged. I'm done. And it just seems like at that point, I'm able to go, and whatever that stressor was, it's left. It's like my body is done internalizing, analyzing, whatever lysing that I've been trying to do over it just stops. And at that moment, I keep telling myself, I have to recognize this earlier. But I always fail to do that.
So you're
Yeah.
standing there in complete peace and calm while there's chaos all around you. You just
While
thought,
there is simple chaos, I'm just like, really? It, I wasted a lot of time and negative energy that I should have never wasted.
yeah.
Yeah, for
Earl,
sure.
what's your take, bro?
I think my take, I don't know if this is the proper terminology, but it's the first thing that came to my head was called sniper points, meaning there are some points where you go into meditative um, ways of relieving stress. Some people don't like to scream and shout. Even though they hold it inside, they go to like meditation music to kind of have different ways of releasing that stress. Okay, like a quiet place, maybe a park, or if they're close enough to the beach, water, ways to relieve that stress. That's for some people. Other people, if they go exercise, if they need to take a stroll around, wherever they live, get that heart rate up to kind of help themselves. I think it's different for everybody, but the key thing is you gotta let the stress out because all that's gonna do, it's gonna cause health problems. It could cause mental problems. Uh, but um,
I
but
knew I had issues, Earl. You didn't have to bring it up.
yeah, I know. Well, there's some things that can't be kept a secret around here, Jay. So,
Oh, shoot.
but let's face it. In everyday life, there's going to be stress in one way or another. It's how we're dealing with it and how we release it. And it could swing, and you're swinging the bats in all directions. So I don't think there's any right or wrong answer to this one, guys.
And I
Oh,
think
no.
a lot of times with stress, I think if we don't deal with it, it's going to deal with us, right? In
It
some form
does.
or fashion. Like,
Yeah.
however, I mean, it could be a heart attack. It could show up as a stroke. Who knows? Like, it could show up as some medical thing that happens because we let stress be a key role or a key player in our role, right? And unfortunately, that's sometimes people don't just let it out. They keep it in. And when we keep it in, like Jay was saying, it becomes like you almost become like a teapot getting ready to have all that steam come out, right? And the whistle's going, whatever. Like that's gonna happen.
Hmm.
I will say this, since we started this platform, the one thing that I've noticed about myself is self-awareness is such a key thing in anything that we do. And Jay Shetty does absolutely a phenomenal job of making us self-aware. And I think that because of that, my stress level in the last 2 years have been a whole lot less compared to what it maybe should have been. But when I say should have been, being my past, my actions in my past would have said that the last 2 years I would have stressed more. The pattern carrying forwards, I guess, is what I'm saying. So I think that this platform has allowed me to become less stressed in life because I paid more attention to things and realize I think there are triggers in all of our lives that sometimes we allow them to go too far. And if you're not aware of those triggers, then it's easy, and I'll use the phrase to go down the rabbit hole and you get lost in it. And that, what does Robert Kiyosaki calls it? The ladder of despair. Is that right? Going around the ladder
Mhm.
and you can fall down that ladder of despair and hard to climb out. It's very hard to climb out. So this platform has been a very moving thing for me personally, and I thank you guys for, saying, Jay, you're wrong. Jay, you're flat wrong. And you don't have to directly say it. I can listen to what the comments are, and I'm realizing, Jay, I am wrong. So it's cool. I love it.
Sure.
It as far as now for me personally, Jay, I've been sick all weekend. I mean, I missed Friday here. I mean, I had no voice on Friday. That's how bad I was. I mean, it was horrible. But this past weekend, I mean, the stress level increased in me because I couldn't do anything. I mean, as you guys know, I do part-time DoorDash on the weekends. If I'm not dialing and setting appointments, because I couldn't even dial this weekend because nobody would be able to hear me anyway. But that kind of stress level, that's something you have to hit the reset button on and say, okay, this is what I need as a business owner. This is what I need to do to go back to the drawing board to reset my week so I can get back on track. Sometimes it's easier said than done, but when you're living alone in it, you are your boss, but you are the only one who's in control. Making those decisions, you have to put it in the hands of God. And if you ask God for his
Hey,
guidance, he will get you there.
For sure.
hey, you
Yeah.
can't lean on faith. You just
I know you
fully,
can't lean on faith, but
you just
you got
fully accept it, and then that will help carry you.
exactly. And that's what self-care does. And the only way you can relieve the stress is depending on yourself. Say, I will get this done. If you
Yeah.
say it to yourself, you know, it may not come today, but if you keep building that pattern to positiveness, it'll eventually come.
You know
Yeah.
what, you know what the great thing about faith is, Earl? All you need is a speck of it, just a little bit
Well,
of it.
that's true, 100%.
That's all you need is just a little bit of faith. And if you have that little bit of faith, boom,
But it can't just, okay, so a little bit of faith, yes, but it has to be an unwavering little bit of faith.
it has to be.
Right, exactly,
Do
Otherwise,
exactly.
not do not
you're,
lean on it. That's exactly what
Don't
I
don't
mean by
don't
that.
don't
Yeah.
don't lean on him all the time. Just ask him for guidance. But the thing is, you gotta take care of yourselves first. I mean, letting that stress out uh in the best possible ways that without hurting yourself to do it, I think is the best thing. So
yeah, and Earl, you almost like whenever you get sick, well, at least for me, whenever I get sick and I can't do something, or I'm at a place where I can't, you just can't do it, right? Like physically, because you're sick, right? It's almost like you feel like you're behind the eight ball, right? Is that how you felt, Earl? Like you were moving back instead of forward, and you're like,
not
what is going on here?
not only did I feel like that, but it also felt like I fell down a flight of stairs and I landed on the bottom. I'm like, okay, how do I get myself up? I mean, that's the mental part of it, not the
Mhm.
physical part.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's like you just fell down the chute, like, oh God, I just fell down that. And sometimes as a business person, that can feel like that when you have the unexpected happen to you, and all of a sudden it's like, woo, bam,
Yeah. It's
and it
almost like
hurts
God's
when
way of telling you need a break.
right. And I had to take a break both Friday and Saturday. I said, you know what? I'm human. I got to do this. I got to take a break because if I don't, you know,
The
it's
last thing that anyone wants when they feel horrible and like crap is to have a mental game going on. You
right.
don't want
Exactly.
no mind game going on when you feel
No,
bad. But
no,
it's
you don't
it's
want.
easy to have it though, isn't it?
Yes.
It
That's
is easy to
that's
Yeah.
the
have it.
best time to strike that game up is when you feel like crap.
It's easy to have it, but you know what? I found ways to make myself, get back off that stairwell and get back on it slowly. Just realizing, you know what? I may be bent, but I'm not broken.
Mhm.
Mike, we got to let you speak because we're getting ready to cut this one and rock and roll out of here.
Two things I was thinking. One, what do you call it? Just a little bit of faith,
Spec
a
Yes.
speck. A speck could be a seed.
could be a seed.
Let's
And I
see.
and I think that is in the Bible, if I'm not
Yes,
mistaken.
it
Yes,
is.
it
Yes,
is.
it is.
Yes, it is.
I had a similar thing happen, Earl. I wasn't sick over the weekend, but my wife volunteered me to cook a meal for 5 people, which I thought I was going to be able to
Volunteer.
get dial time in there. Uh, but it just didn't happen. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
By
and
the
did you feel
time,
like you were behind the eight ball?
a little bit, because I knew I would be here in Florida for 3 days, and again, it's going to be playing catch up when I get home.
Mhm. And
Yeah.
then not only that, not only just playing catch up, but you got to think about like your brain after you get done with these next 2 days or 2 more days, right? You have 2 more days.
Yeah.
How is your brain going to be on overload? So you're going to even feel more anxiety and stress because you are trying to comprehend everything that you're learning, right? But then also trying to accomplish everything that you didn't get to accomplish before you left.
Right.
And then how do you deal with that?
Mm.
You just push through. You can't shut down, because you shut down, you're out of business. You just push through.
Yeah, but how do you push through it?
One step at a time.
That time. Boom.
One
Yes.
dial at a time. One.
And and Mike, that was the mindset I had on Saturday. I got, little by little, because if you
Well,
don't do that, it's going to be game over.
one thing I think we all have to realize when you go to somewhere like a conference, what Christine is saying and then how Mike responded is so true, is there's so much overload of information coming to you and you're trying to process everything. When you go home from a conference or a learning event of any type, you have to take that knowledge and realize you cannot use all of it the very next day. You cannot put all things into action. Furthermore, you also have to realize what is right for you as an individual and your type in the way that you do things. Not saying that you're doing it right. You still have to listen maybe to processes and say, you know what, I need to incorporate those. But it's not a light switch to where Wednesday morning or Thursday morning you say, okay, I'm going to do 1 through 25 today. I'm going to incorporate these 25 things. It's impossible.
It's too
So
overwhelming.
yeah,
And
it is overwhelming. Go ahead,
and
Earl.
Jay, I just want to point out, you said something that was a bullet point for me. When I went to Dallas, Texas last year for the Advanced Market Conference, even Jeff Sigworth came on the stage and with his personality, he said, "Listen, this is just the beginning stages for a lot of you." He says, "Don't think that you're going to go home and try to do everything all at once." He said, "You got to break it, take your notes, find what works for you first, little by little." Because if you try to swallow the whole thing, he says, all you got to do is grind yourself into the ground. He said, for those, some of you might be specializing in IUL and retirement. Great. Some of you might specialize in debt free. Some of you might specialize in another thing. He says, that's fine, but find your specialty, implant it, but do your mortgage protection business to go along with it. He says, in other words, plant those seeds to strengthen you. And you can also attend another conference to even strengthen it more.
Yeah, I
He
think
said, I
most
want,
of go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, what he's saying is he didn't want to allow the new people to get overwhelmed at first because we were drinking from a fire hose at that conference, without a doubt. But when you add a business conference like this one, or any business being, for those who are listening, and you're sucking a week's worth of information in 3 days, a lot of times when you're traveling home, your head is like a hot air balloon. And I think it's important to break it all down and find your strength in that in your notes and find what works for you and work with that. That can help also relieve the stress of
Yeah.
these meetings too. So
Yeah. That's an interesting saying, drinking from a fire hose. Because we say it a lot, right?
Well,
we
we do.
do, we
But
do.
everybody gets their own personal sip.
Dang gum.
Right?
Yep, nailed it.
Did you hear that from Brian last night?
No.
Yeah.
Kid, I'm just kidding. That was good. That was
If
real
they
good.
didn't say it last night, I'd be shocked.
Oh, that's hilarious. Hey, listen, guys, we are not licensed therapists. It's very obvious of that. We are licensed life insurance agents. We enjoy listening to the app Calm with Jay Shetty on a daily basis. We get to talk things like here's our headliners: Primal Scream, Keep Trying, Constructive Criticism, and so forth. These are titles that we listen to on a daily basis, and it allows us to explore our feelings and how we think and see things. So, this is a learning tool for us, and hopefully, you guys can enjoy it and listen in and comment on our posts there and let us know what you feel.
And folks, don't forget to please like, share, and subscribe to our content as we continue to bring you more. And we certainly hope you will come back for more, enjoy, and learn something from this.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace.